trying to find really good angles in here for that. Oh yeah, that's a better view.
So good speaking with you earlier. Saying that I've just had a conversation on the phone. Provided a portal to move through. And the moving is just like doing some qigong with my brother out here in South Jordan. Like it feels. It's just really cool. I got some good stuff to share with you. I love you so big, Chelsea. You've been breathing from the center of the Yemingju?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I play with it.
Yeah.
All of them.
But it's such a great reminder here, and it just feels really good to center the breath from inside the energy or around it or as it's low or anything.
Yes. I found it so fascinating, the 3 realms within, this vibration, frequency, energy that these stones, crystals give off, and how different those frequencies truly are, and how much if you carry a certain crystal, it does tend to grid you into a vibration. And for me, it's been a complete journey, a very humbling journey.
Yeah, because what lets the light in? Crack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's the Yemingju often is gifted and sent to those who are of no harm to the cracking process, because it's what opens up from within the egg, and the Yemingju being the dragon phoenix pearl, it is very much about being exceptionally safe. And there's again 10,000 different people to be able to hold that. But the Yemingju is it's quintessential in the journey. And when it greets you, you're at a very sexy landmark in your journey. It's
Sexy is a really good word for it.
Because you get the opportunity to see the beauty in the ugly, and you're literally ready for it.
Mm-hmm. So rewarding, yet so much responsibility begins to set in.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only thing there is. If you're gonna live a meaningful life, and that's why I'm here.
And so can you tell a little bit about your first interaction and how that went down?
Are we filming right now?
Yeah.
Oh. So for me, I'm always being filmed. It's one of the ways I live my life. Well, because if I'm always watching myself, then I'm accountable. And it goes with one of the credos that it's you know, if I won't do it in public, I won't do it in private.
Mm-hmm. Accountability.
Yeah, because what happens behind closed doors and all that stuff, it's a place where lies, deceit,
Mm-hmm.
on a need-to-know basis type stuff takes place. And while, of course, there's information that people aren't ready for in terms of the general public, the truth about said information can be transmitted and shared 100% of the time, always. Some of the logistics and details need not be because it's for a select few. There's Colby. I ended up heading back home down south. Yeah, Colby ain't coming. You know, I can share the truth of the story, and then with only some people share some more intimate details, which would shed important light for their understanding and inner knowing.
Yes.
But for others, that information would be inappropriate. And there's so many threads, fractals, pieces to each thing, each individual, each experience. But to be able to speak to all of them requires presence. Most people ain't there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really cool to see more and more being there. So your question was, talk to me, Alex, about your first experience with the Yen tree, correct?
Yes.
And my first introduction to it, right?
Yes. See, and I want to speak on this previous subject really quick. So, accountability and being filmed. Alex just noticed my chair is completely built for yogis only.
Yeah.
And if your chi's not real dialed in, guys, you might fall over and bust a neck in here, and then what? And then it's the he said, she said bullshit, but guess what? We've got films, then we've just got laughs everywhere. So beautiful. Sorry, back to the first interaction. This is so fascinating from the man that introduced me to Yemenju, Alex.
Well, so let's first say the word Yemenju. It means in English night bright pearl. Yemingchu, and it's one word, and it is pointing to the Manipura. It's pointing to the inward orbiting of our own light. And the more we do our work, whatever that happens to be, it literally doesn't matter. You cleanse the dirt, the grime, the fog, the whatever around your vessel of boundless light. And then the more you start being, the more your health radiates, increases, you live, longevity, you live, your voice, tunes, it's like everything comes into alignment. And the more you go against yourself, the more resistance, the more you live a fate, you know what we were talking about earlier, is the more muck you put around it. So again, you can put all the muck around this ball and cover it up completely so no light touches it. But once light has touched it, that fracturing process, that cracking, it starts, and it will continue to happen until it fully finishes. It's just the nature of the fracture. It's like once a rock chip in your window, it will eventually go. It's just the nature. But if you're going against and putting more and more on, you can cover it completely, but it does not change the fact you do have that boundless nature, that infinite light inside. Now it's a little bit different for men and women, but we both have it inside. So you talk about the first experience I had with it.
Mm-hmm.
you know, cartoons, video games, the inspiration to be the change, to be the one, to be important and special. The first sparking of this. And you can go back as far as you can see. Of course, we all are important, we all are special if we choose a meaningful life. If we don't, well, then none of us are. It's nihilistic bullshit. I prefer the primary, the meaning. Right? Now, as far as the actual Yemingju itself, as far as the actual crystal, I came in contact with it in late winter, like late February, early March of 2015. Went to ayahuasca ceremony. There it is. I'm like, what is that? I just see this thing glowing. I'm like, what? Get up out of my seat. I got freaked out for a little bit. And so this is incredible. This is, this is that glowing item in the video game that it's like, this is the holy guacamole. This is this face size avocado you see in the light.
Yes.
So I get myself one. It's the lowest grade of a modern, still legit Yemingju. Lowest grade modern, and cost me $850. Still have it. It represents such a dear piece of my soul. And I remember the second night of the weekend using it as a flashlight to write in my journal in the pitch black evening during the ayahuasca ceremony, using the little guy just to like illuminate the page.
Wow.
So having fun with it for practical purposes, not understanding what it represented, I just felt like a pull, like a moth to a flame. I'm like, fired in the direction towards it. Did I find it or did it find me? The way I describe it to people, Jordan, it's like in the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie. When Elizabeth Swann is on the top of the what do you call it, Presidio or tower right at the edge, and Commodore Norrington is trying to, get his fluff on with her and ask her out and all this stuff, and she's backing up and she won't have it, and trips, falls off, hits the water. And since she's wearing the piece of Aztec gold, when it hits the water, you see this wave pulse out, and then the pirates know. It's a similar thing that happens with any individual who opens up their light codes.
Yes.
Maybe it's a subtle experience, or maybe it's a grand. But there is this radiation that goes out, and the Yemingju responds to that. And once it feels that knock of "I'm ready," it will find its way to you. And that's a very easy to understand picture to see how the paths meet, because it is both directions. So I got introduced to it back in 2015, and immediately was like, yes, this. Felt the chi, I felt the magic, I felt the speciality, And it's been Satnam, Waheguru, Om Namah Shivaya, Gurudev. It's been the blessed and biggest opening into my tragedy, into the arc of my confusion and where I've been locked, and also the accentuation of my best. And in conclusion, and this is why, on the yoga chair, because just like a three-legged chair, the illumination of this crystal, its light, showcases where you're not all together. So you can see your shadows, so you can see into your blind spots. So what it does is gives you more eyes, basically, to see yourself. And then with more perspective, you have the ability, when you're in a really good place, to share in an even better way.
Yes. That's so beautiful. And so with the tea, because it does go hand in hand, and I suppose just the research that you've put into it and the work that you do with everyone around you, how did the tea come into play with Yemingju, and how did you cultivate what you do when people come and work with you and get work done with you?
Mm. Tea and Yemingju, as you basically mentioned, they go hand in hand. Yemingju infuses water. It has the ability to program it. And since we know, Emoto, his work with water crystals and being able to program them so you see what the picture of love, kindness, compassion, justice, and joy of these vibrational virtues versus the other spectrum. You can see what it does to the water. We're mostly water. The fundamental nature of Yemingju and water are the same. Geometrical structure, basically the same. It's fascinating. It means I can program this crystal with either. The more of that beauty and that love that I program this with, the more that exponentially impacts the water. I'm going to speak about two things here. One, to answer your question, and two, the genius of actually how to program the water. Hydration is key. Where water temples, 70 to 80% water. So the bulk of our nutrition, the bulk of our strength ought to come from water. Fluidity, hydration, flow. And Pu'er Oolong tea ceremony, Gong Fu Cha, brilliant research for anybody who wants to do it. But Pu'er has been, it came to me about the same time, about like fall of 2015. And what to say about tea ceremony? It's the juice, the jam, the jazz. It's so simple. It's the art of perfecting the details and having a structure at which your day can flow around. And the tea ceremony, the power of it is as, oh my God, falling over, is as limitless as your imagination.
Yes.
Yeah.
Provides doors and openings to really just anything and everything. Stress, love, light. Just dialing into the present by slowing down. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, and pu'er tea has caffeine, but even more than caffeine, I'd say it has propulsion. So it has the fuel to assist you in your in the direction you're going. Whether that direction is going to bed, don't cachet. Whether that direction is going on a full drive. Pu'er is only found in Yunnan province in China, only place in the world it's grown. And the leaves, stems, and flowers of it, it provides an exceptional earth melting tea that just has the ability to hydrate you exceptionally, and especially through volume when you drink a lot, and nourish you in much more complete ways than physical food.
Mm-hmm.
It's stellar.
Mm-hmm.
So the tea ceremony is a way to start by slowing down, getting more connection with whoever I'm interacting with, and then all in the same 2, 3, 4 birds with one stone. And that would be a great shot. Yeah, look at all of them come down.
Yeah.
Oh no, Alex, you started the next world cataclysm. So you knock a lot of birds out with one stone when you do a tea ceremony before any work. You'll see you do a business meeting. You know, you'll have people that'll say their profits increase many times with body work. Then the person's more hydrated, they're more nourished, they're more relaxed, their body's more in flow, and then pop, there's their shoulder. Do it before an interview, you know, then the conversation has more flow. It's adaptogenic to whatever field you put it in. Same like the ming. When I'm more with my glow, when I'm more in resolute completeness with purity and clarity, I can function that much more optimally in any situation or scenario.
Mm-hmm.
I can see myself through any rough patches and dim places with more trust, strength, personality, power.
It's exactly what it does.
Now the last piece I'll say is to program water. There's a lot of liars and deceit and falseness around. We all know this. The first key is look honestly back at yourself. Where are you doing this? Then goes through your process of acceptance, forgiveness, cleansing. So you stop it. But how easy is it for us to say, hey, I love you? And whoever we say it to, it falls on deaf ears because they're hollow words. So water being alive, Yemingju being alive, everything basically being alive, it's very intelligent. So if I tell the water, even in a cutesy voice, hey, I love you so much, because it's a lie.
Yes.
And it's devaluing the water and invalidating myself. So it's much more important to show I love you, to show I'm sorry, to show thank you rather than say it. Because they say, oh, sorry for the delay. Don't even bother, because you're not sorry. It's an insult. And so if I'm gonna insult the water by saying, I love you, or even, you know, let's say I'm really not feeling love, I'm feeling a bunch of hate, and I go, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. It's not that. So it's much more to be in integrity with the vibration and the wave in which you're feeling. Because that is much more, in essence, what love is than saying it. Because how many of us even know what love is? We even have a grasp on the picture. So the Yeming Zhu, it's shining light from whatever color, green, gold, purple, blue, galaxy. Your Yeming Zhu. So the best thing you can do is express the authenticity through your breath oftentimes, because your breath can transmit much more than your word can say. You know, I sneeze, bug flies everywhere. But the genuinity of what you feel can impact the structure of the water or the Yeming Zhu that much clearer. And if I have this glowing crystal, its luminous light thereby is the strongest and clearest flame to light the crystal of the water in a really just ultimate way. Because as I was talking to my sister last night, we're all broken. We're all messy rhomboids, just attempting to correct our geometry.
Yes.
And water and Yeming Zhu being of perfect geometrical structure, it's an optimal life form to attune and align with.
I'm here to tell you, I dumped the Yeming Zhu in the tea, and I do notice quite the difference when I don't. I'll just say that much.
Oh, it's huge.
It's very profound.
I don't put it in tea. I'll listen, because sometimes it'll say yes, sometimes it'll say no, and if you cleanse it regularly and wash it and polish it, you're good. But you can stain them.
Yes, I've noticed that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
see, I'm out and jumping these things in springs, and so I do feel. Of course, I'm really new with them, so I have been getting a lot of yes, but really just engulfing into testing the water, so to speak, and
not sort of speak, to actually speak.
To actually speak. And it's marvelous. It's great. And I haven't felt any sort of stains or anything like that with mine, but that's fascinating. And I want to draw back to the orange and the uniques, because that is the cosmic or the galaxy.
The galaxy.
Galaxy, yes, which is the purple and blue infusion. So tell us a little bit more about what you know with that.
Yeah. I want to address the last thread you spoke about, which was putting them in tea. So, if I were to put this beauty, it doesn't look like it's glowing, but that's, because we have the ambient light. So if it was perfectly dark, you'd
Right.
But if I put this in tea, it's not that it's bad, because you have, old Chinese tea masters. You'll have Yeming Zhu masters in China who will have Yeming Zhu and put them continually in drinks, and they're stained totally. But again, even if there's that stain, that layer of filth even on it, it doesn't change the fact you glow. So you can do what you want with your own mind.
See.
Yeah, that's part of the beauty of your choice, because you get to choose. What I personally do is have some sort of mesh as I'm making the tea, and then pour just hot water on, and the hot water goes over the Yeming Zhu, lights it up, because these guys love their temperature reactive as well. So the hot water goes over them and then infuses into the tea, or even, let's say you're cooking. The green will make it's incredible, because the green water makes plants grow quicker and more lush, stronger stalks. Blue is it tastes fresher. It's amazing with the blue. It adds buoyancy. Like, you taste hydration, life, oxygen. Like, it tastes fresher. Foods taste better. and then the purple adds a how do you say in English, like a elevation, a happiness, a euphoria. So it has that etheric bubbliness, and you can think of this in terms of Star Wars, the lightsaber, because again, the kyber crystal Yeming-Zhu is a integral piece of the kyber, the lightsaber. So it's like, look at the green lightsaber and what that brings versus the blue truth lightsaber versus purple. This is a great way to receive the telegram of what its effects are. And this is what we call instruction by the light. In a momento, I'm going to finish my tea so I can get a little more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I smell it too.
Everybody's gonna pass out because you know, there's death molecules in the air.
Hide your yummy juice, hide your dogs. Lay on the floor because we passing out in here.
Wow.
So the uniques,
Yes.
a subset of the alchemist, the individual who owns the patent on the modern Yeming-Zhu. A subset of his students went off and betrayed him. And they stole his patent and they attempted to make their own profit by trying to circumvent his creation. And this did twofold things. One, it was an egregious act. Two, it sparked a revolution of authentic modern Yeming-Zhu that have all the effects of the blue, the green, the purple, but they're unique in that you have the combination of the galaxy, which is green, blue, purple, gold, sometimes red hues, and then you get all these then effects of that color spectrum. And then you also have gold or black, which are incredible. One of Jordan's pieces is a yin yang, which came from that. And so it sparked two things. One, that scission, which that all finished and is part of the lore of Yeming-Zhu, which I won't speak about anymore. But what I will speak about is the boon of having more colors come about that are exceptional collector's items and some of the strongest chi of any modern Yeming-Zhu, because they're rarer than all the others because there's only a certain amount that were ever made, less so than the others, and you get the golden vibration of that particular gold Yeming-Zhu, or the quantum deep dive of the black Yeming-Zhu, or the celestial or cosmic alignment of the galactic, the galaxy Yeming-Zhu.
Wow. And so, Unique's rarity makes them authentic,
They
but
are
not necessarily a positive vibration because of this lore that you understand.
No, and it's also in the Yeming-Zhu book about the history and everything about him.
Yes.
No, it is a positive. It's just to be understood that the uniques they came from piece of history where someone chose to act on the poorness surrounding their soul rather than the illumination and teamwork and collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We can have amazing events come out of war. So, the teacher-student role and the mentor-mentoree relation is not always easy, especially when one feels they've outgrown the other.
Yes.
But out of, students stealing research and trying to take it for their own, they created Epic Yemingju.
Yeah.
It's really quite special.
Fascinating stuff.
Yeah, they're legit. They hold all the chi enhancing power. They're lit.
Yeah.
They're really, really good. And anybody who gets the opportunity to own one consider yourself very blessed. Any Yemingju, consider yourself like you're doing something right.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And that's a good thing to contemplate on, is you get in connection with someone who's insanely gorgeous. You find yourself in a beautiful, you find yourself around love, truth, beauty, justice, wisdom. Like, you find yourself around virtue. Like, it's time to contemplate and say, how did I get here? What am I doing right so I can keep it up and dispense with the baloney that would get me kicked out of here.
Yes. It's so true. It's very true. And a lot of things change afterwards too. It's an integration process. Just seems to bring you deeper into alignment with what you're already doing, or at least that's how it worked out for me.
Yes.
It made a lot of things that were so complicating to everybody else okay with me.
Yes.
And that doesn't have to have words behind it. And that was the big message. So they are very celestial objects, and
when you say celestial, what do you mean?
So that's another thing I wanted to touch on, is it just feels like a increased vibration. It doesn't, the celestial, terrestrial, and telestial just, I think, have gotten a bad rap as words. But for me, it's just the frequency. So maybe a wavelength. In a telestial wavelength vibration, you might find that the wavelengths are longer, in that the transmission takes longer to understand and fully integrate. And then a terrestrial wavelength is a bit closer. And so there is some mystery there, but it is a lot shows a lot more clarity. And then a celestial wavelength, obviously, I feel is more harmonized, closer together, and very clear.
So is what you're saying is you're going through a hierarchy of one wavelength to another in terms of harmony and completeness and attuneness, so that who picks up the transmission can process it cleanly, or it's like only getting bits and pieces of the so if I'm and then you
Yes.
So
exactly.
you receive pieces of what I said, but you didn't hear everything I said.
Yes.
I liked what I just did right there. That was cool.
Yes. It's very much like that.
That was live.
Yeah, that's a great explanation for it.
Jordan, you didn't tell me that we started filming, and you didn't let me know if I was pretty. So now I've been talking this whole time not knowing if I was pretty. So excuse me if I was too pretty, because Jordan also didn't tell me that, so I didn't got a little extra fluff there.
Please, everybody, comment in the box. Let us know if it's even fucking necessary with this cat. All right? 'Cause I don't think it is. Let us know. We'll let the peepholes decide. How's he looking? Oh, such a beautiful time. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. This is our very first podcast. Many to come. Many conversations to be had.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah. Love you all so much.
Are we ending or getting near the end?
We'll just end the video, but we still hang out and have some tea, yeah?
Well, yeah, we can also say ending question.
Yes, okay. Ending question. Let's go with, tell us 3 teachers or teachings that have impacted your life in the last year. So that can be a book, a podcast, a person, a place.
I like your questions. They remind me of how I ask. I'll go with 3 teachings, because I'm all about the teachings, not the teacher. And there's also the teacher is very important and oftentimes is transcendent to the teaching. Goes both ways. First, Pantareya means all flows. So attach not, celebrate all. The more I can celebrate dim feelings, the more I can celebrate my idiocy, the more I can bring, not disingenuous, but appreciation to my expression or whatever circumstances, the more I add integration into the immaculacy of whatever I'm experiencing. Or that is experienced. Second, it all comes back to me. It's all about me. And this means take full responsibility, full ownership. Don't blame anybody else, any other circumstance, any other thing. It means I'm responsible. It means, I walk out and get hit by a bus, my fault. I got a late fee. Not the stupid company, and then they shouldn't have late fees. Valid, and perhaps yes, and my fault. Because it takes the man to understand the words. Because the words don't make a man understand. So without your own inner work, again, you live a fate, you live a hollow life. Then I heard this brilliant quote. G.K. Chesterton, great writer, 19th century, just absolute fantastic. No, 20th century, excuse me. Does that happen to you too when you're speaking about the 1900s and you say 19th century? 19th century is 1800s.
Yeah, I don't think I've caught myself on that one yet.
Well, dyslexia is one of my friends, so welcome home. But of the 20th century, G.K. Chesterton, he said, well, it's obvious. Men are men, but man is a woman. So when we speak about man or the human race, we speak about man as our race, we speak about women. So men are men, but man is a woman. And this is brilliant and holds so much coding and just illumination into truth. And the way I want to really just nod to that is the way forward are women. So to pay deep honor, homage, justice, strength, and support is quite a task worth undertaking. Panthrea all flows. 2, it comes back to me, self-responsibility. If I'm not my best, how can I share my best with you? If I don't nourish, support, and bless myself, how can I really be here and serve from an overflowing cup? And 3, women are the way forward. So if we're going to serve the longevity of man, the human race, we best be paying attention to women because they fed up and they smart.
Heard that.
And, you know, this is not to say that they get off scot-free, because we all know how bad women can be. But by and large, if we just shut up and listen, we'd be surprised.
Yes. Thank you so much for
Hey.
sharing all this with me.
Yeah, it's great.
In the world.
I love talking. It's one of my faults.
Yeah. You're very, very smooth. Very good at it. So Alex, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. You know to come. Wild Animal Podcast 01.
Only saw your beard. You didn't flip it up enough.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't get you like the entire time.
You mostly saw your abs, honestly.
It's okay. Well, thank you for everybody watching. I'm sure we'll
Can do
a lot
another
more
too.
coming. Yeah, always. Got to get Colby here. Colby, where are you? I'm
An
coming
excuse
for you.
land.
Yeah.